Can't see my goal anymore. Sort of that.
This week we're travelling west across the Spencer Gulf to the Eyre Peninsula, where we'll stop in Port Lincoln. The sail was going to be about 60 nautical miles and take us about 10 hours.
There is a life I lead in this
You don't want this shit on our boat.
No more roly-polies?
Try and avoid it. We'll aim straight at Wedge Island and then make a tack around it. It's brisk. It is wet weather. Wet weather gear weather.
With close to no power and no sun to charge the solar panels, Tyler had to hand steer most of the way. There were 2-metre waves coming in on our beam, which made for a pretty roly-poly day. But lucky Captain Woodsy is the man for the job. Say that again?
What have we learned today?
I don't know.
I'm a better pilot. I'm a better skipper than the autopilot.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, not as accurate as fuck.
Oh, good deal. What have we learned? Pre-pack your lunch. What are you doing? Okay.
If I could take you back to my youth and show you what I wish I knew. My will is strong with a place to lean. In the moment I hung that spill.
The update. We are a couple of hours outside of Lincoln. How many nautical miles?
About 12.
About 12. The sea state has calmed right down. We've finally got some waters coming from behind our tush rather than on our beam all the time. So this is the first time in, what, 6 days?
This is the nicest sail we've had since
The whole time. This is renewing some spirits. But we are out of power. It has just been overcast and
English. It's been British.
It's been the English moors. We just finished listening to a 6-hour podcast about murders on the moors. It was too much. But we've finally got some reception. We've called ahead to the Lincoln Marina, but they haven't called us back, so we don't know. But we don't have any power left really to get us through another night at anchor, which was our original plan, because there's been no sun for our three-day sojourn in West Cape. But it feels good to be nearly there, and then we can regroup and sort ourselves out.
Yeah.
But much nicer.
Yeah. Make sure you're hanging on. Remember that we're flipping back and forward. So you want the loops right at the base, because it's just going to slip down, remember?
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Yep. That's enough to hold it. Now just another half inch. That's secure. Now just kick it up on deck, and we'll kick them down when we're ready.
The sun has come out just in time for us to get into Lincoln. With trawlers passing all around us, we knew we were getting close to land, close to Lincoln, and close to a pint. Who did it best? How's that first pint tasting, pal?
Very, very good.
Is that why? So we've got a bunch of jobs to do today.
Yeah.
We're on the move.
Yeah, so I mean, we've pulled into 2 marinas and we've realised that we need hose because our home marina is nice. They give us a hose, so we're going to have to go and get some hose. Start looking for a mainsail fix if we can get one. Iridium Go. This afternoon I need to call those guys back. They never got back to me. Our Iridium Go, we can't connect to it. We've got power issues, so the 2 solutions I'm going to be looking for is either a DC-DC charger or a generator. I don't think that it's going to be feasible to install a wind generator now here. It's just going to be too difficult. Wind speed and direction, we need to calibrate that meter. I'll have a chat to my comms guy about that. And silicone, we need to seal up the sink and also the chart plotter upstairs because we've got a little gap in there. Don't want any salt moisture going into there. That's going to be bad for that. And we're getting a leak whenever we're doing dishes, so we'll do some silicone in there. But that's pretty much the boat fixes that we need to work on before we leave. Make sure we've got power, because if we've got power, we've got water.
Feeling energised and determined to get all our jobs done, we started the 1-hour walk into town. Port Lincoln is the 10th largest town in South Australia. It's known for tuna fishing. They even have their own tuna festival every year with a tuna throwing competition, though in recent years they've substituted real tuna for fake one. People come to Port Lincoln to go shark diving and to pay their respect to 3-time Melbourne Cup winner Makybe Diva. But we didn't get to enjoy any of that because we were on a mission to go to every store, it seemed, in Port Lincoln that had something to do with boats and fixing boats. You know, in shops when you see like a bunch of dudes sitting around and everyone's like, oh, the boyfriend seat, that's the situation that I'm in this boat supply store. Except my seat is an esky. This is my life now. Back at the marina, we navigated the long pier in order to fill up our water tanks. But there was only water on one end and power on the other, so we had to move the boat after we filled up our tank. We're having a working bee. I'm working on trying not to ruin my self-esteem by watching myself on camera, and you have all this out. Do you want to explain what's going on?
Yeah, so the battery charger that we installed doesn't isolate and save the starter battery, so I bought this little voltage sensitive relay from Red Arc. So that will just cut out any time it reaches 12 volts to protect the starter battery.
So why is there a blowtorch in our house?
Just doing some heat shrinking and trying to do that without damaging anything.
Is the gas off?
Gas is off.
Right.
Done.
Success?
Success.
Jezuk. Job 312 for the day. What are you doing, pal?
Just trying to seal this sink up a bit. It's been leaking from underneath onto the floor.
So you just put this sealant all around it?
Yep.
Oh god, that acetone's strong. This is the medical supply scenario from earlier where Tyler got his, we'll have to rewash these dishes, where Tyler got some metal stuck in his finger and we had to cut it open and pull it out with some scissors and tweezers. And then you've just put acetone into that cut, haven't you?
Yep.
Did your band-aid fall off?
Yep.
First aid nurse, not impressed. You're not comfortable letting me record you when you're doing proper work, are you? So so we're missing the key footage that we're describing. But you've been busy out there, and the engine is running. So why don't you describe, seeing as we can't visually show everyone what you've been up to?
So there's a couple of things. I was a bit worried that there wasn't enough water coming through.
The engine?
Went through the engine when we were at high revs, and that there was a bit of smoke coming through, white smoke. So I disconnected some hoses, checked the seacock, and there was like a fountain of water coming out, so that's sweet. Connected it all back up, ran up the engine, and then just, because we're on the dock here alongside, good opportunity to just sit outside and watch the water coming out, and that was good, and it's coming through, and it's fine, and it's not a lot of smoke. So I suspect that's probably just steam that's coming out because we're splashing and the exhaust is going underwater. What I was also able to test was the new Red Arc device that we installed that we talked about earlier, and just test where the throttle needs to sit for it to start charging. So a little bit of noise on the throttle and it starts charging, and you back the throttle off to neutral or just in idle, and there's not enough revs there, like the alternator's not providing enough to be charging the batteries, which means it disconnects at the solenoid, protects the starter battery, and we're sweet. So we're not going to damage our starter battery again like we did back in West Cape.
Good.
Concise?
You get one of these. It wasn't all chores and misery. We took the tender through the winding marina and found a little local brewery to relax and enjoy the sights. How is it that people don't steal it? What's stopping people from stealing this?
It's all like engines all locked onto it. Fuel locked on.
It's just pretty bloody heavy. It's a bit bloody atmospheric. Go on, drink your pint. Cheers.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. I'll get around that. We are applying for our good to go pass for WA. We keep travelling west and making plans to keep travelling west, but we need permission to get into West Australia. So that is what we're spending this morning doing. There'll be a scenario. We'll have to come back from whence we came and go east if we don't get approved. And just when we thought our jobs were done, a little surprise to keep us busy. Ripping apart our bed and carrying our saturated things through to the deck.
Yeah, we've got an issue here, which I don't know how to fix. Yeah, so these fittings that I've installed I had to make some shit up because the fittings didn't exist that I needed, and they haven't sealed properly, obviously.
Oh shit.
And I don't know how to fix it.
How did you know that it had messed up?
I had a feeling.
When you were trying to fill the tanks?
Yeah, when I was filling the aft tank. I started thinking about these fittings that I've installed. Like this one's just loose. That's not good, is it?
Can I see? And there's no way to get parts so those ones that are causing the leak.
No, it's not parts. It's the fact that it's not glued down well.
All right.
It's a leak through here. Yeah, I can have a go with the corking gun. I'll have a go at the corking gun, see if I can seal it up better.
Sopping wet. Oh well, no point crying over a bit of spilled water. Confident that that was the last of it, we took ourselves on a day trip to Coffin Bay, known for its national park and oysters. We've borrowed a car and we are going to Coffin's Bay because when we sail there we cannot get into the main township because our queue is too long and there's a sharp sandbar, 20k?
20 miles.
20 miles out of the town, so we won't actually get to go into the township. And we just want some bloody oysters.
Go on, you buggers. Give them a food.
Buggers. Guy is not interested. He's bloody hooked.
Note to self, we will not be passing between here and that island.
Yuck. Ooh, nature.
All the flies on your bum.
Vending machine, the only one in the world. There are currently no oysters in it, so I don't know if they're starting a trend. Not available. Can you see the saliva? Saliva falling down my mouth. Would you believe that of all the days we came to Coffin's Bay that the oysters are spawning and so they're not actually selling oysters? But they saved a few for this little platter, so I got this platter. On our last day, it turned out that we had one last job to do, but this one we weren't too upset about. When we were at the boat store in Lincoln, we spoke to the owner who put us on to a guy back in Adelaide who might be able to help us. turns out it was the husband of an angel from heaven who I work with back in Adelaide. Adelaide is often accused of being a small country town with less than 6 degrees of separation for anyone who lives there. The fact that we had travelled a couple hundred nautical miles only to be helped by a boat rigger who lives 2 streets away from me at home was outrageous, though not unexceptional for Adelaide or for South Australia, so it seems. We called Tim around knock-off on a Friday and we had the part in our hands by Tuesday. Thanks so much, Tim Cowan from Doyle Sailmakers. You're a dead set legend. Bosun's chair experience? Success. Fear of heights?
Still there.
Still there. Legend. With all of our jobs done and our mainsail back in action, we left the marina to come and anchor in front of the town for our last night in Port Lincoln.
Very nice.
Join us next week as we leave Port Lincoln to begin our journey up to Streaky Bay to get ready to cross the Bight. I take control of the wheel and we find a little slice of paradise in Lincoln National Park. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to click the thumb, subscribe, say some things in the comment and share with your friends. And we'll see you next time on Never Not Sailing. If you're thinking about drinking, head on off to Port Lincoln. If you're thinking about smoking, you must be joking.
It's fucking bad. So bad.
You chose me. Regrets.